Alright, in today's video, I'm gonna do a mock test of IELTS speaking part 3. Hi, my name is Suguru and I have gotten 8.5 in IELTS speaking. Are you ready? Now let's get started. Yeah, definitely. People of my country are, I should say, pretty good at following the rules. Just toe the line and just follow what everybody else is doing. We are pretty good at doing that. But at the same time, honestly speaking, I kind of feel that people of my country are kind of too good to be, kind of creative or innovative. I mean, people of my country are not so creative as people from other countries like the United States, for example. So yeah, of course, respecting rules is very important. But at the same time, we should sometimes we should challenge conventional ideas or think outside the box, and so we can't always follow rules, I don't think. Well, one obvious difference is that the law is legally binding. In other words, every citizen has to respect the law. If you don't, you'll be in jail, no matter what you're doing. No matter whether you are going to date someone today, or you have a very important meeting. It doesn't matter. You'll be in jail if you have broken a law. But on the other hand, if you violate a rule, it's not legally binding, so you won't be in jail. You might be punished in some way or other, but you won't be imprisoned. Well, there must be many examples of that. I can't think of any specific example at this moment, but in sports, rules sometimes change, and sorry, I can't think of any specific example. What's that? What's that? Boxing or ski jumping, or I kind of forget. But in a certain sport, they have recently changed the rule about about a player's body weight. Like if you want to participate in a match or game, you have to be under a certain body weight. Like you have to be under 65 kilograms, for example. And sometimes some players don't know that, and they say they are 67 kilograms, and they think it's okay. But when they weigh themselves, they're disqualified because they say we haven't changed the rule. So if you are 67 kilograms, then you are over the body weight limit. Thank you for listening. Now let's learn some vocabulary that I used today so that you can use it in your responses. Let's start with this phrase. People of my country are, I should say, pretty good at following the rules. Just toe the line. Toe the line. Toe the line. To toe the line means to follow rules or try to meet other people's expectations. Toe the line. Well, one obvious difference is that the law is legally binding. Legally binding. Legally binding. If something is legally binding, it means you have to follow it by law. Legally binding. But when they weigh themselves, they're disqualified. Be disqualified. Be disqualified. If you are disqualified, it means you are prohibited from an event or membership because you have violated a rule. Be disqualified. Alright, let's talk about my responses now, in terms of one of these assessment criteria. Today, let's focus on fluency and coherence. Coherence evaluates how you answer each question, which means, of course, you have to answer questions given to you. Let's go back and watch part of my response to the last question. I can't think of any specific example at this moment, but in sports, rules sometimes change. So I, at the beginning, said I can't think of any specific example. And this is okay because it's not your English problem. And then I went on to talk about how a change in a body weight rule can affect sports players. And I finished. Yay, good job. Wait, did you notice the big mistake that I made? Do you remember the question? So here was the question. I forgot to answer this part of the question. Any rules that have changed because society has changed. But my example was not a rule that changed because society has changed. I didn't talk about society at all in my response. In other words, I didn't fully answer the question. Is this off topic? Would this negatively affect my score? Unless you are aiming for the perfect score, I don't think this would affect your score too negatively. Because the IELTS examiner understands Part 3 questions are difficult. Even native speakers sometimes have difficulty giving full answers in Part 3. So even if you go slightly off topic, or if you do not answer part of the question, that's okay. That's much better than not speaking at all. So don't worry, just say something. Do your best. Alright, I hope you found this video useful. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and most importantly, let me wish you good luck on your test.